Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
The 49ers team kind of completely carried over from 2023 season to 2024, which is a great thing whenever you have one of the best rosters in the NFL. To return as much as you possibly can, that is paramount. 11 out of 11 starters all back on the offensive side, and you got one of the best offenses in the history of the NFL, so that's huge. Now, there was turnover, backup roles, all that stuff, and one of the mainstays for the 49ers has been the tight end 2 and the tight end 3 with Ross Dwelley and Charlie Warner, and those two guys are gone. And so now we're sitting here at number 43 on the 2024 roster countdown, and we get a new tight end 2, Eric Saubert. Fun player from Drake, of all places. Comes in number 43, and there's a lot of parallels between him and the 49ers offense, and kind of this is somebody that Shanahan has known about for a long time. We'll detail that. This is somebody that I think George Kittle's known about for a long time. We'll detail some of that, and we'll even hear from Kittle talk about Eric and what he can bring to this team. So he's a tight end, and I think that he's going to kind of take over that Charlie Warner role. He's a bigger dude, 6'5", 253. You mentor in his player comps. Listen to these names. Josh Oliver, 87%. Eric Ebron, 83%. Rob Gronkowski, 81%. Now, he's not as big as Rob, but he's pretty dang big. This is a big tight end, much bigger than Charlie Warner, much bigger than Ross Dwelley. He's got some size, 33.5-inch arms. Now, he is 30 years old. He's long in the tooth. Ran a 4.69 40, 7.33 cone, 33 vert, 121 broad, 22 bench press reps. This dude, he's a big, tough dude. Now, Josh Oliver and Eric Ebron, much more receiving threat options. That's not really what Eric brings to the table. Yeah, he could do that, but Logan Thomas is probably going to be that role. That tight end 2B, right? That's going to handle a little bit more of the receiving options. I think Eric Saubert, he's going to be much more of your special team stud. Over 1,400 career special team snaps in his career, entering into his 8th season. He's a fun player. Now, you kind of go back and you look at what he was able to accomplish. Again, Drake, Chicago area, that's where he grew up. 2-year football letter winner at Hoffman Estates, and he was all... received a lot of awards, all conference, all area as a senior, top 5 player in the metropolitan, area, 2-time letter winner in basketball, A honor roll, outstanding service award winner from Hoffman Estates High School, all the things that you want to hear. Then he goes to Drake. You don't get a lot of football players from Drake. Let's just be very honest. Was a science major, recipient of the Drake Presidential Scholarship, so academics, check. And, his first year, redshirted, took some time, but then his second year, or his true freshman year, 2013, all PFL, second team, all that stuff. Then 2014 plays in 8 games, all PFL honors again, 32 catches, 2 touchdowns. He can receive the ball. He can move with the ball in his hands. 2015, again, he made the All-American team for, again, the football championship subdivision. It's all changed names since then. 506 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. And then he goes out and gets 10 receiving touchdowns in his last year in college. Now, his family, incredible. They're very active. Mom's a physical therapist. Dad runs a design studio in the Chicago area. His brother is an actor, fight choreographer, been on Chicago PD as recently as this year. Sister was a women's rower, and she was a part of the American Collegiate Rowing Association's first team All-American boat, which is pretty cool. And so, yeah, you've got the base, the foundation, the academics, the size. He's got all those things. He's just not shiny, right? Like, this is a 5th-round pick back in 2017, drafted by the Falcons. Guess what? I guarantee, I would bet the farm that Kyle Shanahan helped build that big board, and they liked it. You remember when Shanahan left, Steve Sarkisian took over and kind of implemented a faux Shanahan offense and adapted some of his tendencies into it. And, Texas still running that offense, and Shanahan's helping them. There's so many carryovers. Now, he was drafted 20 spots behind George Kittle in that 5th round. So it goes Kittle, then it goes Eric Saubert, and then just a couple spots later, Trent Taylor. And now all 3 of them on the same team, which is pretty cool. Now, let's hear from Kittle talk about the addition of Eric Saubert to the 49ers.
An Eric Saubert guy from my draft class. He's played a lot of football, so I know that's helpful. He does it the right way, works really hard, so that's kind of nice to see too. He's got a really, really solid player. And then
I'll say this. You look at that 5th round, there's some other, I don't want to say notable 49ers, but there's some other 49ers. Jerry McNichols, who's been on and off 49ers practice squads for a while. Brian Allen, yeah, that defensive back, Brian. You remember that Miami game when Akello Witherspoon couldn't go late and Brian Allen got torched by Fitzpatrick? That Brian Allen. Brian Hill, the running back, who was on and off the 49ers. And so it's just interesting. You look back to, a year. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan had scouted the hell out of that 2017 draft, except for quarterbacks. And, man, a lot of them have been on this 49ers team. Now, back to Eric Saubert. Played in 84 career games. 36 receptions, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's not a receptions guy. You're thinking much more Charlie Warner, but maybe a little bit more. I mean, he's got more receptions, obviously. He's played longer than Charlie Warner does, but maybe it's just a tick more in the receiving game, but that's not why he's being brought in. Now, you go through his career. Rookie year in Atlanta, 14 game played. Second year in Atlanta, 2018, 16 games played, 1 start. Chicago, 2019, 2 games played. Jacksonville, 2020, 8 games played. Then he kind of found his own with Denver in 2021 and 2022. 34 career games played in back-to-back years. Last year, bounced around a little bit, was with Dallas for 1 game, Houston for 9 games, 1 start, and that is paramount because Bobby Slowick is the new DC down in Houston. So Eric Saubert's got our terminology, a lot of the same concepts down. That's huge. And, I don't think that the 49ers went out and their plan was, look, Eric Saubert's going to be our number 2 tight end. I don't think that was the plan. I think they wanted Eric Saubert to compete for that number 3, 4 spot, but you had the missed tight end with the dude in Detroit. The draft didn't go the way you wanted to, so eventually you have to bring in Logan Thomas. Cameron Latu still not practicing. It's probably not the most ideal tight end 2 and 3 in the league, but the addition of Logan Thomas definitely bumps that floor up. And let's just understand, this room goes as far as George Kittle will take it. Can Saubert be the special teams glue piece in the run game that Charlie Warner was? I think he can. He's got a lot more experience. Special teams-wise, more than 1,400 career special team snaps. That is paramount. Now, while he is playing, 52% of his snaps are run blocking, which that's huge. The NFL is a passing league, so whenever you're out there for all these run blocking snaps, that's huge. 8% pass blocking, 40% routes. If you just break down his 100%, what that looks like. And now he's going to join the 49ers, most run-heavy football team in the NFL, or at least one of them. And I really do see Eric Saubert as that Charlie Warner role. Logan Thomas will be more of the Dwelly role with a little more upside. To compare Ross Dwelly and Logan Thomas is not fair to Ross Dwelly, and I love Dwelly, but a little bit of a difference. Now, again, one of my favorite things about him, this dude has missed 1 game his entire career, once. And that was back in 2017, his rookie year. He had a high back strain, which is scary for a rookie. Missed week 13 in 2017. Hasn't missed a game since. He had a thigh strain in 2022. Didn't miss a game. Then he had a knee sprain in 2022. Didn't miss a game. Played through both of those. So that is huge. You want these guys that are dependable and you can count on. This guy you can count on. Does he have a ceiling? It's low. Does he have a floor? It's high. Right? So, you know what you're getting. This is a single, this is a 7-iron off the tee. I'm going to put this right down the fairway. I know exactly what I'm getting. He's played in the system. Is he making a Pro Bowl? Is he going to be on any highlight reels? Probably not. That's not really what he is. But it's these type of glue guys that make the 53. We got a 43. He's making this roster. You look at his contract, 1 year, $1.3 million, $471,000 guaranteed. Not a huge contract. Logan Thomas got a better deal. But that blocking role, even if you look behind, let's look at the depth chart, which, real quick, Eric Saubert's made $6 million in his career. Not a lot, but that dude's grinding it out, and I freaking love it. $6 million, this is a lot of money. Played, 17 starts in his career, 84 games played. Now, you look at the depth chart, the Niners don't have another Saubert. They really, really don't. Cameron Latu and Logan Thomas, those are your receiving guys. Braden Willis is kind of your jack of all trades, whatever. But your big blocker, that's Eric Saubert. You don't have another one. Jake Tonjes, maybe. Mason Pline, he's going to fit into the Logan Thomas, Cameron Latu, whatever. Then you got George Kittle, which is, master of all. So your locks, I've got Eric Saubert as a lock. I really, unless the Niners go out and address and bring in a big blocking tight end, you've got to have this role. Braden Willis, who I love, the rookie last year, 7th round pick, got snaps in the Super Bowl, but he's a good blocker. He's an effort blocker, but he's not near the size of Eric Saubert. He really isn't. So I think Kittle, Saubert, Logan Thomas, those guys, they're making the roster. I think Braden Willis will beat out Cameron Latu again. Maybe not. Hopefully Cameron Latu comes on and cooks. But if he does, that doesn't affect Eric Saubert. Because, again, Cameron Latu's the worst blocker on the team. At least if you look at his college tape and if you look at what he did in training camp last year, dead last in both blocking and receiving. But the receiving upside's there. I mean, dude broke the record for most touchdowns at Alabama for a tight end ever. That plays, right? Can he live up to that coming off an injury and he hasn't participated in minicamp? I don't know. Cameron Latu is just a huge question mark right now. But Eric Saubert is not threatened by him because they're two completely different type of tight ends. That's why I think he's going to play. That's why I think he's going to get a lot of meaningful snaps. And again, you got to ask yourself, how many times did you see Charlie Warner out there last year? Yeah, not a lot, but a lot of those huge runs, you see Charlie Warner, especially in the red zone. That's where short yardage red zone, you see big runs. Charlie Warner was in front of all of that. It just kind of like slightly off stage. Like you don't really notice him. I think that's what Eric Saubert's going to be for us this year. So excited to have him. Hopefully he goes out there, locks up his spot. It's nice to have somebody that plays through injury, has the experience, has the big body, has the physicality, intelligence as well. And so just shore up that tight end 2 spot, which, again, didn't go to play for the 49ers, but happy to have this guy. And for us, we'll just keep counting him down.